The Super Nintendo market is crashing. Either that or I've just been getting stupid lucky. Now I know every year during the summertime, prices on video games start to fall usually a little bit, but not as much as I've been seeing them this time around. Some games I've been getting over 50% off compared to price charting prices. I mean, it could just be a string of good luck, but check out some of these games I've been finding. We have Ultima, the Black Gate. This game goes for over $200 complete in box. I won it for $108 shipped. And I don't collect graded games, but I had to get this. This is Packy and Marlin. This is a 9.4 A+ seal, and I got it for about a complete in box price. And here it is sealed in mint condition. And you know the grading costs money. I don't know, I don't grade games, so I don't know how much it costs to get something like this graded. But for a complete in box price, I might as well have a minty copy. And I've been finding so many good deals that I can't even keep up. I've been selling off my Wii, Switch, PlayStation stuff, DS, 3DS, just trying to keep up with all these great deals. One thing I had to let go was a Bronchi. It was also sealed and graded, and it had a really high grade. I think it was like a 9.6 or something like that. And it went for $800 plus shipping. Like $800 for pretty much the mintiest copy you can find. And it was sealed. That is a complete in box price. And another good deal I was able to score is Final Fight Guy. Now I actually have this box already, but there was a complete in box listed and I decided to bid on it because it was in really rough shape. And I figured if I could win it for a good price, then maybe I could just sell the box and then have a really cheap cart and manual for my box that I already had. And I did exactly that. I ended up winning Final Fight Guy complete in box for $700. And all I needed was the cart and manual, and I've already sold the other box for $500 by itself. Therefore, I ended up getting the cart and manual for this game for only $200 some. But I would say my best score is Final Fight 3. I won this for only $405 shipped. Complete in box, not in bad shape or anything. And if you look at the last couple sold ones, one sold for $1,000 and another one went for $1,500. Now they each had registration cards, but it's a generic registration card. It's not specific to this game. And I actually had another Capcom game with the correct registration card, and that game is not as in good condition as this. So I put that registration card in this, and now I have a really nice Final Fight 3 for only $405. And I'll be covering some of those games next episode. There's also another game I saw at the same time as some of the ones I won, and that game was Snow White, and it had a starting bid of $100. And nobody bid on it. That's a $200 complete in box game. The only reason I didn't get it is because I've already got this copy graded, and I did some trading for this a long time ago. But it's just been deal after deal. I don't know if I just have a string of good luck or if the market is actually crashing right now. It's like winning the lottery, only instead of getting a bunch of money, I'm spending a bunch of money. Maybe I'm just one of the last few crazies still collecting Super Nintendo complete in box. I don't know, I feel like I'm getting a great deal, but maybe I'm just dumb. I'm the one shelling out hundreds of dollars for old video games. Speaking of that, I can't be too dumb. I go into the post office yesterday, and there's a guy up at the counter. There's only one person working back there, and there's a guy up at the counter taping up his packages right there on the counter. Like, oh great, I gotta wait for this guy to tape up his packages. And he just has this confused look on his face, and he's looking all around, looking for the clerk, but she walked away for a minute, and then he turns around to me after he finishes up taping up this package, and he asks, "Do I need to write anything on the box?" Gee, I don't know, man. Maybe the address of where it's going? Do you just expect it to get there by hopes and dreams? I mean, I understand you're confused, but how would you not know that you need to put an address or the person it's going to on the box when you're shipping something to them? That just blows my mind. You're an adult. How could you not know that you have to put an address on a package? You can't make this up. This guy was serious. Do I need to write anything on the box? That's not the only dumb I've been dealing with. Like I said, I've been selling off stuff, trying to keep up with all these good deals I've been finding. So I have this PS5 controller. It's like brand new. I used it maybe 3-4 times. And it just sits on the charger most of the time. Well, one day I go to play with it and like half the buttons just stop working. I don't know why, what it is. Like I did an update on the controller and everything. For whatever reason, only half the buttons were working. So I went out and bought a new PS5 controller. And guess what? All my Super Nintendo controllers from the early 90s, they all still work. But a brand new PS5 controller, $70 controller, no. It's just gonna break for no reason after a couple times of use. So anyways, I list this controller on eBay for 30 bucks. Cause that's what broken ones sell for. And I put in the description everything that's wrong with the controller. Look, I've only used this a few times. Half the buttons stopped working. I don't know what's going on with it. It's broken. And for the condition, I listed it as parts only. So then I get a message. And when I open it up and read it, this guy asked me, "Hey, I saw your controller for sale. Is there anything wrong with it? Does it work fine?" Yeah, man, you just hit the jackpot. You got a brand new working PS5 controller here for 30 bucks. You win. You win the internet today. And while we're on the eBay topic, I might as well tell you about this. I won a Chrono Trigger yesterday. It was $825 plus shipping. I win this game. It has the registration card, everything. 825 bucks. And then the guy says, "Hey, I've got your package packaged up. I purchased insurance and it's gonna require signature confirmation." So I'm like, cool. What do? I go in there and I unwatch all the other Chrono Triggers I was watching, and there was other auctions ending that day for Chrono Trigger stuff, but I let them go because I just won one. Today he hits me up and he's like, "I'm sorry, I had to cancel your order. I didn't know there was eBay fees." But I look at his feedback and he sells a lot of items. So I message back, I'm like, "Yeah, you did. You know about fees, you're a seller. Your feedback shows that you sell a bunch of stuff, so obviously you know about fees." And he just denied it, saying he didn't know about fees and all this other nonsense. But as I went to look at his feedback, I noticed some pictures looked really familiar on items he was selling. So then I go over to Facebook, and sure enough, he's a seller in one of the Super Nintendo groups on Facebook. And I can see that he's got all of his prices on Facebook cheaper than he has them on eBay. And that's because he knows about eBay fees. And I messaged him back and I was like, "Yeah, you do know about fees. That's why you list stuff cheaper on Facebook." At this point, I don't even know why I'm going back and forth with this guy. I should have just stopped talking to him, like, whatever, you refunded my money, it's over. But, you know, it's the principle. I want my game. But anyways, after I pointed that out to him, he comes back with, "All right, yeah, you know, I got some stuff going on. I'm just trying to maximize my profit for this." Well, there you go. You should have just been honest in the first place. That's a lot more respectable. But anyways, today we have 5 more games that we'll be adding to the collection. Let's check them out. And the first game up is Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd was developed by Probe Software and published by Acclaim. It released for the SNES in 1995. You play as Judge Dredd in this action platformer based on a movie of the same name. Each level you're given a primary and secondary objective. You must complete the objectives in order to advance. There are all kinds of weapons you can pick up throughout the levels to help you accomplish your mission. Ammo is limited with the exception of your main weapon. Enemies can be taken out by weapons, punching, kicking, and headbutting. After you disable some enemies, you can arrest them. Arresting perps is a common objective in the game. For a game based off a movie, Judge Dredd isn't too bad. The visuals are well detailed and the controls are good for the most part. However, when I first started the game, it took me a while to figure out where to go because the ladders look strange and they can blend in with the environment. It can also be a pain lining up with ladders to go down them. The music is decent, but nothing memorable, and the gameplay is pretty fun. There's no difficulty option in the game, and after 3 continues, it's game over. Luckily, you can find items in the levels to increase your health. Another helpful thing in the game is it has computers in the levels. You can check things like your mission status and health, which is cool. And they also serve as a good reminder of what your objectives are in case you forget. Overall, Judge Dredd is a decent game worth giving a shot. Judge Dredd is game number 201 for the collection, and price charting has it at $51. And at $51, that brings our total up to $33,930 for the SNES Quest. And the next game up is Elite Soccer. Elite Soccer was developed by Rage Software and published by GameTech. It kicked onto store shelves in 1994. We've covered a lot of soccer games so far, and many of them have been incredibly annoying. Elite Soccer is a breath of fresh air after playing some of the other ones. Not to say Elite Soccer is a perfect game because it's not, but it's one of the better ones I've played recently. You can play with 4 friends using a multi-tap, which is cool. It has a practice mode where you can practice shootouts and ball control, and then you have a friendly match and tournament modes. The shootout mode is okay. There's an arrow that moves back and forth, and wherever you stop it, it's where your ball goes. You can control the ball height with the D-pad. There is a slight stopping of the arrow when you hit the button, but when you play goalie, the ball doesn't seem to go in the direction the arrow stops at, so it's more of a guessing game. The actual gameplay is fast-paced. I actually won every game I played. In some other soccer games, I wasn't even able to score a single goal, so it makes this soccer game more enjoyable. But as I said, it's not the perfect soccer game. The visuals are blocky and fuzzy, and your players will automatically stop running after the ball if they are not the closest ones, which is one of the biggest downfalls of the game. Some people think the players are too fast, but I actually like the speed of the players. Elite Soccer isn't the best soccer game on the SNES, but it's not a bad one to try out. Elite Soccer is game number 202 for the collection, and I paid $158 shipped for it. And at $158, that brings our total up to $34,088 for the Super NES Quest. And the next game up is the Incredible Crash Dummies. The Incredible Crash Dummies was developed by Gray Matter and published by LJN, crashing onto the Super NES in 1993. The game starts out with a rather boring, lousy animated story where Dr. Zub gets kidnapped by the evil Junkman. Your job is to go and rescue him. It doesn't take long to realize that the game is awful. Enemies come out of nowhere. You don't have enough time to react when they appear on the screen. It's easiest just to run and throw wrenches, but the wrenches are extremely limited. As you take damage, you lose body parts. Body parts can be restored by finding screwdrivers, but you're likely to get hit by an enemy right away again whenever you get a body part back. To make things worse, enemies respawn if you travel any distance away. So as you avoid parts from this falling car here, it just respawns anyway. You have the ability to duck and turn into a pile of parts. A reasonable thought would be that this protects you from damage, but it doesn't. To make the game even more of a dumpster pile, there are no checkpoints. When you lose all your parts, it's back to the beginning of the level. And if that's still not enough for you, you get 3 continues and it's game over, sending you back to the beginning of the game. The game is super hard. The visuals are mediocre, the controls are slippery, making the platform a headache, and it's missing the fun factor. The Incredible Crash Dummies is one to avoid. The Incredible Crash Dummies is game number 203 for the collection, and I found the box and cart for $29 shipped. Then I found the manual for $10 shipped, bringing our total up to $39. And at $39, That brings our total up to $34,127 for the Super NES Complete in Box Quest. And the next game up is NCAA Football. NCAA Football was developed by Software Toolworks and published by Mindscape. It tackled the Super Nintendo in 1994. NCAA Football is one of those games that lacks options. Starting off the game, your options are exhibition or tournament. That's it. This is college football and the teams seem to be totally random. When playing, you have your standard playbook choices for the offense and defense. You choose your play and execute it. The controls are set up a little different than most football games we've covered. B snaps the ball, then you use B to change to the receiver you want to throw to, and Y passes the ball. Passing in the game is hit or miss. Sometimes I'd execute plays exactly as intended, and other times the players seem to do their own thing. When running the ball, you have to be cautious of your own teammates. There were a couple times I tried to run and got stuck on my own teammate, causing me to get tackled. There's also limited options when running. There's no spins or evasive moves at all. Most football games we played gave some moves while running the ball. With the lack of options in the game, you do have the option to change the weather. The graphics are fuzzy, sound is limited, controls are good, and the gameplay is mediocre. NCAA isn't the worst football game on the SNES, but there are better ones to choose from. NCAA Football is game number 204 for the collection, and I got it for $10 at Disc Replay in Memphis. And at $10, that brings our total up to $34,137 for the SNES Quest. And the next game up is Uniracers. Uniracers was developed by DMA Design and published by Nintendo. It raced into stores in 1994. This is a racing game where you really need a manual to enjoy it. Everything is in the manual, from the story to important things you need to know. Starting off with the story, there was a unigod long ago that was trying to impress a young goddess. She thought the unigod lacked creative imagination. So in order to impress the goddess, the unigod came up with the idea to race unicycles. You have 16 different unicycles to choose from. They're just different colors and none are better than the others. There's also a large variety of tracks. Some tracks are for racing, some you have to do stunts and rack up enough points to advance, and then there are circuit races and drag races. When racing, you need precision to land the bike on its wheel. You also need to be ready to switch directions. You can do flips and twists, and successfully pulling them off will give you a speed boost. The main reason you need the manual for this game is the track colors. The color of the track gives you a clue on what's coming up. For example, a blue and green track means there's nothing to worry about. Red and blue means the direction of the track is about to change, and red and yellow means you screwed up and you're better off just starting the race over. Not having the manual for this game could make it or break it. The visuals look great, the backgrounds are plain, but you're too focused on the track to pay attention to anything anyway. The music is really good rock style music and the controls are great. Uniracers is a fun game when you get the hang of it, but it can be frustrating at times. If you're looking for a unique racing game for the SNES, check out Uniracers. Just make sure to read the manual first. Uniracers is game number 205 for the collection, and it cost me $153 shipped. And at $153, that brings our total up to $34,290 for the Super Nintendo Complete in Box Quest. Let's get these games on the shelf. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe. I'm completing the entire Super Nintendo library, complete in box, right here on this show. Also make sure to leave a thumbs up for Uniracers. Until next time, I'm Gamer Wayne, and thanks for watching.